Is that actually French? That may be French. Hey y'all, welcome back to day 5 of Vlogmas, and yes, I know exactly which day this is, pre-recording it. Yes, I know, because you'll see that this location changes. Editing OB, it actually ended up being day 7, because life got crazy, and I'm actually editing this the day it's going up. But I'm starting recording this video because it's going to take a couple of days. But the whole thing is, we are doing some gluten-free taste testing. You're probably wondering, Obi, didn't know you were gluten-free, and it's like, I'm not, but one of my really good friends is gluten-free, and like December 4th was his birthday, and as y'all saw, I had a different video for December 4th that also is really important to me. So I thought, as like a slightly belated birthday present for him, we would do tastings of like different gluten-free options that I have found here in Ghent, because honestly there's not a lot. They rarely like their bread, which also, though, fun fact that I learned, most countries in the EU do not actually put folic acid in the bread. Like in the United States, breads, a lot of different breads and like tortillas and other like grains are fortified with folic acid in case, like, just so you have it in your system, because that's actually really important in the first trimester of a pregnancy to help with things like the development of the spinal cord, and it prevents things like spina bifida or neural tube defects, or it's more likely to prevent it. So yeah, that was a weird thing that I recently learned. But so I've got a couple of different options, and I'm going to pick up more. This is just kind of the first like 3 options that I found. The first that we're going to show you is something you can find at the grocery store. This is at AH, which is Albert something or other, but the name right there. It's a Dutch brand, and this is their gluten-free cake. So this is, ta-da! It actually serves like 4. So we're going to open this and we're going to try the first little bit. So texture-wise, it reminds me a lot of, it's very spongy actually, and it smells pretty good. This is, like I said, the chocolate chip, and I'm going to just open it up and cut off a piece to try. I'm trying to like, smelling it, it smells more like a muffin, honestly. I'm also kind of, so also with all the gluten-free stuff, I've actually usually had reactions to gluten-free stuff, so we'll see how that goes. You'll maybe get a like clip of me at the end of this where I'm just like, this was a mistake. Again, it's not because I don't think that gluten-free stuff should exist, but I'm not one of those people. I just know that sometimes my digestive system has problems with it. So here's the inside. It's got quite a good crumb actually. So let's try a bite. Costco muffins. That's my first thought. It's reminding me of like those big Costco muffins. Honestly, if you had told me that this was not told me this was gluten-free, definitely would not have thought. But yeah, it also does not contain any milk, as you can see here on the label, so no grain and no milk. And I'm hoping also this has there's no concern about cross-contamination. I do not know. That was the thing I was seeing with a lot of these, is you weren't going to be sure about cross-contamination. So I don't know how good that would be for like my girlies with celiacs, because like celiac has like major concern about any sort of cross-contamination. But if you're just more on the general gluten-free side, that seems like a good option. Also, this is what the price is, so it's pretty reasonable, I think. We'll see, because I don't remember how much I paid for this. Also, I always kind of have to do the conversion in my head, because at the moment it's about $1.16 to the euro, so yeah. So this option, great. I will say, actually, even though I was at kind of one of the smaller versions of this grocery store, they had a decent, it wasn't a huge selection of gluten-free, but for the size of the store, it was proportional to what I would expect, at least what you'd see in the United States. Okay, so the next thing that I have is actually that I picked up at Carrefour, because I tried to also look at things that were from some of these like generic brands from the grocery store. This was like one of the few things I could find, and I was at one of the larger Carrefours. I was not at a Express, I was at Carrefour in Damport. But they had this gluten-free, lactose-free chocolate, like cereal chocolate that was in hazelnut. So let's try it. It is also looks to be fair trade, because that is the thing that Belgium is kind of concerned about a lot of times. So this is just like kind of the chocolate did not break smoothly, and you've got the different pieces of like hazelnut in there. So let's cheers, try a piece. I'm trying to tell how it's lactose free when I see something saying like milk in there, but I don't. Oh, it's milk powder missing the lactose. That's the one nice thing with Dutch right now is like there's a lot of things that has like the crossover. Although, is that actually French? That may be French. Yeah, that's actually the French side. Whoops. Because like almost everything you'll find here, even though the official languages in Belgium is Dutch, French, or German, you most of the time will only see things either in like Dutch, like in the combination of Dutch and French, and English is more likely to be like the third language you will see on like some of the packaging. So I'm not getting any of the cereal that they mentioned in this, so yeah, it's not bad, but if I'm trying to get chocolate, I don't think I'll buy this again. So it seems like cereal is actually the brand name for a brand that is mostly like different allergen free, actually. My bad. The last thing I got is from Madame Baxter, or link, and it's just for this. We'll see some more stuff later, and then I will come back with my final thoughts at the very end. This is like one of the few, like a gluten-free restaurant I have found here in Ghent. It's over by like Zood. I don't know if I pronounced that correctly. So it's kind of close to where the library is and one of the bigger city offices. This is called the Bremen. It's a target. It has had to go through the bus system here. And so you've got chocolate, and it looks like pomegranate seeds and shaved coconut. So yeah, let's try a bite. I'm sorry, I'm not sure how to this one. So some of the crust of the tartlet came off, but let's just try the filling first. Very fudgy, a little bit bitter. They went with a more bitter cocoa kind of flavor to it. Pretty good pie crust or tart crust. Little mealy. I don't know what flour they use instead that is gluten-free. Okay, here's another kind of bite. There's like some pink tints to it. So maybe there's some fruit that let's see. Maybe that's pomegranate? Yeah, they also have little bits of pomegranate interspersed in this. So, yeah, I'm almost wondering if I should have gone with something that was like, they had one that was a banana tartlet. So they had, when I was there, they had 3 tartlets and or targettes and a like Matilda chocolate cake. I decided to try this because it looked interesting. But I'm almost thinking I should have gone with like either the banana or the passion fruit instead. But this is Belgium, so they care about the chocolate. Okay, I also got a little bit of this like cream that was on top. It's not my absolute favorite, but it's not bad. It does remind me a bit of like a brownie, but you're just kind of missing that like really good crust on top of the brownie. And a little bit of it coats your teeth because it feels very sugary. But also I have only had desserts right now. But I was being like healthy earlier today, so I feel like it's fine. And I'm probably just gonna put all of this in the fridge and maybe eat it later tonight. And probably tomorrow or like at another point, it'll be the same video. You will see another 1 or 2 other treats, mostly because I also want to see what you can find at things that are like the normal bakeries and try the one other larger grocery store chain that we have here in Ghent. So despite the beer actually being opened at the beginning of this, it's day 2 of my taste testing different gluten-free options here in Ghent. This is actually, I picked up in Bruges, but I thought it would still be appropriate because it is something that you can find in some of the more like beer bottle shops here. And this is called Grisette Bio. It is a Belgian beer that is gluten-free. I picked up one other beer that is gluten-free too. And I thought it would be appropriate to try this too. I've actually never tried a gluten-free beer. I've tried non-alcoholic beers, multiple of them, but I've never actually tried gluten-free. So let's go. Okay, it's not bad. I am unsure of how I feel. It's got kind of a little bit of a skunking taste, but I've noticed that a lot with like, not a lot of Belgian beers, but like more often than not. Very bubbly also, like very carbonated. As you can see, I was struggling earlier. Oh, we've also got a little like bio thing right here. That's cool. I had gone with the blonde because blonde beers are one of my go-tos. They're also usually an easier drinker. I'm trying to think of what other beers this tastes like. It's not like any like the cheap American ones, but it's also, I personally don't think I would reach for it. There are much better beers, but also I don't know with gluten-free. I picked up another gluten-free beer, and there is one brewery that I learned that's here in Ghent that does have one gluten-free beer on tap actually. So depending on how Monday goes, I may actually go to that just to see, because I'm filming this section on Sunday. So there will be, we've had a couple of baked goods and we're doing a couple of beers too, because those are two of the big things here in Belgium. Gonna keep going, and I'll check back with y'all with whatever next beer. It'll be tomorrow. So okay, so this is day 2 of trying the different beers that are gluten-free. This is called Mr. Cuckoo. It's a Pilsner. I want to try that because like I liked the Pilsner that I had in Bruges, so I wanted to try this one, so cheers. Oh, that's quite nice. It's also a very low ABV. It's only 2.8. So this is one that is like it seems like a good sipping beer, and it's one that like if you don't want to go full non-alcoholic, because sometimes the non-alcoholics don't taste great, but if you really want to have something that's much lower, a little bit easier on the liver, and this one would be easier on your stomach too, depending. This time around, actually, I haven't had problems with gluten-free. I previously had some pretty not great reactions. I have found another gluten-free item here. This one is some cookies, so I'm just gonna try them out. Okay, so they seem very crumbly, honestly. There's some cinnamon to it, but very crumbly, kind of grainy, but that's kind of what I've seemed to expect with a lot of these gluten-free items. I ended up going back to Madame Baxter and I got the passion fruit tartlet. This one had like a passion fruit filling on top, and then in the middle it was another one of those like kind of chocolate like mealy fillings that was similar to what was in the Raymond, and then the crust. I liked the passion fruit. I did not like the middle, and the crust was just a crust. It was a normal crust. It was just kind of a meh experience again. Ignore everything else in the back. The dryer for our place, we only have one dryer for like 8 people, and we're waiting for the second one, so I'm just air drying a lot of my stuff. But in like the case of the gluten-free food, I would have to say that like my favorite was the cake from Albert Heijn. Again, I do not know if that's the correct pronunciation of that store. That one is probably my favorite because it was like deceptive. And then also I really liked the Mr. Cuckoo beer. I kind of want to look up, try to find it in other places here in Ghent. At some point I will go to what it's called, Beer Central here in Ghent. It is a chain and they do have gluten-free beers. So I will probably at some point go there, but just based off of timing and I wanted to get this video out, I had to cut that short. When it came to things like Madame Baxter, I may go back again at some point, but it was not my favorite. Also in all of it, I tried a couple of their different drinks, one of them being their chai latte, which had a large amount of like aniseed, which is not something that I particularly like. It just tastes too much like black licorice, and I am not a black licorice fan. And then with their chocolate milk, it was like a hot chocolate, and it was like good. They used hazelnut milk actually in it, so it was more like a hazelnut chocolate milk. That was hot, and so you just stir it around and you have like this nice little drink. So that again was not bad, but it was not my favorite. So I think I may still keep going because I want to support them and the fact that they are a gluten-free option, but it's not going to be my like go-to all the time sort of thing. When it came to the stuff from cereal, it was fine. Again, I feel like the chocolate was a cop-out, really, if nothing else. But then when it came to things like the cookies, they were, again, good. But I have noticed here that like a lot of the grocery stores do not have like really any sort of gluten-free. When I mentioned earlier that like Albert Heijn had a like decent sized gluten-free section for the size of the store, that was probably one of the largest gluten-free sections I had seen. Sometimes you can find other like sections that have like maybe one or two things that are gluten-free, but it is quite hard. And places like Delahayes and Carrefour did not have a large number of like gluten-free options, as I noticed, which kind of sucks. I hope you guys liked this, and I'm sorry this was not coming out on the 5th like our crazy. I mean, I have moved and everything, and like that was a lot to do. Please remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and we'll do more adventures out in Ghent. So thanks, bye!